welcome to another adventure of Wisman Ranch. Today, we're going to be doing hydroponics. What is hydroponics, you ask? Good question. That's where we grow plants in water, no dirt whatsoever, and it is a closed system. I'll show you how that works here in just a second. So stay tuned. Woo! What we did was we took and bought 6 55-gallon drums. And of course, they had the top on each side. But we ended up taking the jigsaw and I cut a hole. I flipped this. This is a net pot. You can buy those on Amazon in packs of 12. But I put it right over the top. Saw where it was. Used the jigsaw. Cut, best I could. Just good enough to fit this on there. After we did that, I filled all of these up. And as you can see if you can see that, I just have it to the very bottom of the barrel, or to the net cup. You don't want to have it too much in there because basically it will drown the roots. Then what we ended up buying are these little clay balls right here and Master Blend for 1838, calcium nitrate 15.500, and Epsom salts. You can buy all of that off from Amazon. So what we're going to do is we are going to take and measure, well, not even measure, we're going to just take some of these balls, we're going to put them into these net cups, we're going to put the plant in there and put the plant into the water. But before we do that, we're going to measure out all this fertilizer and put it into each barrel, get it all nice and mixed up, and get it going. So we'll be back in just a second.
Hi, welcome back. So now we're going to start measuring out our fertilizer. We're going to start with the Master Blend for 1838. I have a scale here and I'm able to change it into the metric system. So we're going to have it on grams, and we're going to do 132 grams of the Master Blend, this one here, and then 132 grams of the calcium nitrate. And we're going to start with that. I have a container here, half full of water. So when I measure this out, I'm going to put it into the jar. I'm going to measure out the calcium nitrate, put it into the jar, and then the Epsom salt, put it in here. We can shake it up, make sure it's mixed up really well before we stick it into the bucket. So here we go. We're going to do 132 grams. I like to do it with the grams on the scale so you can get an exact measurement. I know out there's some measurements in tablespoons or teaspoons or whatever you might want to use, but when you're able to weigh it, you can get it more exact. A little more. All right, right at 132. So I'm going to go ahead and very carefully add it into the jar. Ooh, it's a pretty color. And then I'm going to do the calcium nitrate. Again, 132 grams. Make sure it starts off at 0 if you have a container on top. There we go. 132. We're going to mix this right on in there. And then I'm going to measure out the Epsom salt. But I don't remember how much of that I need, so we'll be right back. All right, so we need 66 grams of Epsom salt. So I'm going to go ahead and measure that out. Of course, it's back to 0. There we go, right at 66. So we're just going to go ahead and add all this together into our jar. Going to put a lid on here, give it a couple good shakes, make sure it's well mixed. See, that's what would happen if you just dumped it into the blue bucket. It would just sit on the bottom and that wouldn't do anything any good. So we're just going to make sure it's mixed up really well, let it sit and dissolve, and then we're going to add it into the blue bucket and pack our plant up in there, and we'll show you what's next. We'll be right back. All right, so now we have our Master Blend fertilizer all ready to go. It's all dissolved in here really well. So we're going to go ahead and just add it right into the 55-gallon drum that we have. Got a little bit of sediment in there still too, so I'm just gonna add some water into it so we get all of that fertilizer into the bucket. There we go. And we have our 3-inch net pot. I just put a few of the clay balls on the bottom. It helps to soak up and keep the roots dry when the water touches it. And we have a cucumber plant here that we had already started. So I'm just going to very gently dig around it with a little bit of dirt and the roots all on there. We're going to set it directly into the pot. A little more dirt in there. There we go. And then we're just going to take some more of these clay balls and we're just going to pack them around. This really just helps keep it moist so it doesn't dry out. Don't be afraid of using too many of these. There we go. And then we simply set our plant directly in there, and the water is just touching the base of the net cup so the roots can get it. The little clay balls will absorb the water and it'll keep it nice and hydrated. And we have all the fertilizer in there now. So we'll come back and see how our cucumber plant is doing shortly.
When she says shortly, she means in like maybe a week or so, because if we do it right this second, obviously it's going to be the same as it was 2 minutes ago. But man, good job, dear. All right, so basically that's it. You did see a little bit of dirt that was put in there. You can or cannot. We did because we didn't have starts in a greenhouse or anything. We went out to the garden and pulled some out. A couple of the videos we've seen, they've actually started their own in a greenhouse and then put it in there, which is fine. The two things you can go to, the two videos I would highly recommend, are the Arms Family Homestead. This is where I got that idea, and then they actually borrowed it from Leon's Gardening. I think that's what it's called, but there's a link in his stuff to get there as well. Other than that, that's it. We'll check back here in, about a week or a couple weeks and see where we're at and figure it out. We're going to do cucumbers. We're going to put some muskmelon in another one and squash in another. So we'll just be checking them all out once they're finished. Thank you for joining us. Have a great one. Have a great summer. Hope it's going well for you. This is Wissman Ranch. We out.